we go into the kitchen, so where all our chametz is really there. And make sure that, it's a mitzvah to get rid of the chametz. So eat it or give it to gift if it's something that you're not going to have it, or have a specific cupboard, preferably outside the kitchen, which will you put all the chametz of perishable things, like non-perishable things, like if you have pasta that it's impossible for you to finish till Pesach, don't throw it. Either give it to charity, eat it, or put it away in a designated cupboard that will say chametz, and then I'll come to it that you have to sell it. You have to sell the chametz in that cupboard before Pesach. So you take that food, you put it in a specific cupboard. You make sure that you write a note that says chametz, sold to the goy. Okay, so all your things, put it there. If you have one freezer, it's best that you don't have any chametz in that freezer. Try and finish all the food that you have in the freezer that is chametz up to Pesach. If you have two freezers, then you can designate one freezer that will be only for chametz things. If you have a lot of puff pastry and wonton wrappers and chips and I don't know what else, then designate that freeze to chametz. But it's better that you don't have like one shelf chametz at the bottom and then the rest is kosher Pesach. It's much better that you try and finish the chametz up to Pesach. We have another almost 3 weeks up to Pesach. I'm sure you can finish it. If you can, that would be great. And then you have your designator. So start with the cupboard. When you don't have to start now to clean. I don't know how your family is, but my family doesn't agree to eat Pesach 2 weeks before Pesach because it's just not going to happen. So we're starting to change over on Tuesday, and it's very manageable and you don't have to go crazy. On Monday, we take out all the things from the cupboard. We clean all the cupboards. Some people like to line them with paper or with a plastic. We don't do that. I just clean them very well. I take everything out. We clean them very well. Whatever chametz that we want to keep because it's closed or whatever, and we don't want to throw it, we put it in the cupboards of the chametz, and then we put all our kosher Pesach things there. Then we come to the oven, which is something that people get worried about. If you have a self-cleaning oven, it's very, very easy. Put it on the self-cleaning cycle, and it will get to like, I don't know, 300 degrees, and it will burn itself. I don't know how long the cycle is. I think it's about 40 minutes or whatever it is. Every oven is different. The rails of the oven, because they can get ruined in a self-cleaning cycle. So then make sure that you clean. It's better that you wipe everything. You make sure that there's no crumbs in between the door or anything. You put it on a self-cleaning cycle, and then your oven is ready to go. Make sure that you wipe the door properly, that if you have any residues. If you don't have a self-cleaning oven like me, then last year it was really, I used to bring always a company that comes and clean it. And then last year COVID came and no company will come into your house. So I put it on YouTube and I learned how to take out the door and the glass of the oven where all the rubbish really goes in. And it's really easy. There's a product in Kosher Kingdom that to clean all the like particles, like the metal particles. You put it in a bag and the next morning they're shining as if you just bought your oven. So clean it very well. Make sure that you don't have any crumbs. So really, if you can take off your oven door and clean in between and clean all the like the elastic things that are around the oven, the rubber thing that's around the oven. And if you can't take the door off, then take a hoover and hoover it really well and clean it. And then put the oven on the highest for minimum of 40 minutes. We put it around 2 hours where it gets really, really hot. So it burns everything inside. So it gets really hot. Then don't use it for 24 hours. Okay. So what you do, you clean your oven as best as you can. You clean it really, really well. Then you put it on the highest temperature for 40 minutes to 2 hours. Then you turn it off, and then you don't use it for 24 hours. Now, the rails of the oven, you could clean them very well and put them in the oven together for 40 minutes to 2 hours. But it's very cheap on Amazon to buy a new tray. You can buy the universal ones that fit in most of the ovens. They don't cost much, and I really recommend it. We have it, we keep it for any Pesach that we're here, and we just use that, and we take out the other one because it's much better than using the one that you use in chametz, especially when, like, things drip and sometimes we can't clean it properly. So then that's the best way to do it. But if you don't have the time, you can't find it, or you can't then put it inside the oven with it. Clean it very, very well and put it inside the oven when you leave it on really high. Okay, so that's the oven. Now, when you go to the gas hob, if you have a gas hob, then you take them. I saw something really amazing today that he recommended before you clean your oven. Before you clean your oven for Pesach, just wipe it. Obviously, it's wipe, and then you take the like, the things that, how you call it, the racks of the gas hob, and put it inside the oven, and also put it on really high for 40 minutes, and then wash it very, very well. And then the rings of the hob, you just have to put the fire on for like 10 minutes and really high, and they clean themselves. Okay, the way that we clean everything is Pesach is how it gets cooked or it gets hot. That's the way we clean it. So the way that we clean the gas hob is by putting really high fire on it, so it burns out. And then we have to cover the racks and the bottom of the gas hob, not the rings itself, but around the rings in very strong silver foil, because our racks are treif, so they are definitely chametz, even though we try and clean them, and we don't want them to really touch the saucepans or that are kosher lePesach. So we clean them very well. We put the fire on really high, and then we wrap them on silver foil. Okay, you don't have to wrap the whole gas off, but where the saucepan is going to go on in the rack, then you should put silver foil on it. If you have an induction hob, or you have a glass top hob, you really can't kosher it. So the best thing is to I saw that they sell a mat. It's like a cooking mat that you can put on top. You clean it very well with a sponge and whatever, and then there's like a cooking mat that is specifically for this kind of hobs, glass hobs, that you can actually cook on top of this mat, and then that will be perfect. If not, then you're gonna have to buy like a ring to put on top of the glass hob, and then put your saucepan on top. Okay, if you don't have any of those, which I'm sure you can find on Amazon or Shottlers, then I think the best is not, you can't really clean it. You can't really kosher a glass hob for Pesach. And I think what most people do, if they only have that, is that they buy small burners and they cook that way. But definitely look for it if you need it, because it's there and it's available. And then we go to so we did the oven, we did the hob. Now the countertops. If you have a granite countertop, there are people that say that you can just pour really, really hot water, but you have to pour it constantly, and it has to touch every single part of the counter without stopping. So let's say you've done 1 meter, so you have to do it constantly on hot water. We don't rely only on that. We cover our countertops. You can cover it either with very hardware silver foil, or we do it with silver foil, the really thick one. Just make sure you don't cut yourself, so use gloves. Or other people do it with like the hard plastic, which they sell in Good For You, and pretty sure Kosher Kingdom will also sell it, but last year they ran out of it pretty quickly. So if you need it, go and buy it soon. So make sure that you cover all your countertops. You have to clean them before you cover them. So make sure that you clean them very well and then you cover them. And then we go up to the sink. If it's a stainless steel sink, then you can kosher it. You have to pour boiling hot water on the sink. The best way to do it, which is going to touch all the sink, is that imagine this is your sink, and then you take water from up and down all the way. It will overflow on your counter and will overflow probably on the floor. So make sure that you don't get burned and you use something. You make sure that you put an apron and that you're far away from it so you don't get burned. Make sure that you clean all the how you call it, where the water comes out. I can't remember. I really can't remember the name of it, but that you clean all of it, and the tap, make sure that you put hot water on it. If your tap doesn't come out, then make sure that you clean the bottom of it with a sponge really well. The sink, the thing that you put in the sink that collects all the rubbish, you have to put a new one in there. You can't use the one that you use all year round. If the one that you use all year round is a special one, then go and buy yourself a cheap one that you can, the drain, that you can just put it there and you drain, okay? Because that you can't kosher, it has to be new. And then we go to dishwashers, are not allowed to be kosher for Pesach because they have, most of the things inside are made of plastic, and plastic we cannot kosher in Pesach, so we're not allowed to use dishwasher in Pesach. And most opinions are that you cannot kosher a microwave, so don't use the microwave. Close it and don't use it. There are some opinions that say that you can buy a new glass plate to put inside the microwave, and then you have to make sure that water pours all over, and then you don't use it for 24 hours. But we try and be a little bit more stringent on Pesach because it's only 7 days and we can survive without a microwave for 7 days. I mean, I don't have a microwave at all, so I'm sure if I can survive the whole year without it, you can survive for 7 days. And really, that's the kitchen. That's all it is. It takes a whole day. Definitely, I agree with you. It's tiring, and your hands can get ruined. So make sure you buy really, really good gloves that you put and that you protect your hands. But it will take a whole day. I give you that. So it's a whole day of hard work. But once you finish that, that's it. Oh, you can relax. Okay, you can relax and you can start your cooking, which is a lot of meals on the first hack. Is 6 meals, if I'm not mistaken. I think so, something like that. So, you know, it's tiring just to think about it, but it's really doable. Don't go crazy. Don't kosher your kitchen like 2 weeks before. It's not worth it. Enjoy your Shabbat, and if you're really stressed that you're not going to have time, then do it the Sunday before Pesach. If you want to have time to be able to cook and to put in the freezer and all the rest. Now, the fridge and freezer, the only thing you have to do is wipe all the shelves of the fridge and freezer, and make sure that you wipe all the shelves of the fridge and freezer, and that's it. You don't have to clean anything else in the fridge and freezer. Some people line their shelves of the fridge and freezer, but you don't have to do that. And that's it. So we went through the oven, the gas hob, the countertops, the sink, the fridge and freezer, and now the only thing we have to do is to wash the floor and turn over with all the dishes that we change. Now, the best thing, if you already did Pesach in your house, is that you have dishes and pots and pans and forks and knives and glasses, especially for Pesach. If it's an expense that you can't afford for this year, and it's too much, and it's the first year that you're doing Pesach at home, and I'm sure that most of you did Pesach at home last year, so maybe you already bought things for Pesach. There is the option of doing a gala. I don't know if this year there's going to be a gala. A gala means that like I told you, the same way that we use whatever, let's say we use our saucepans in the fire, and we have to put them back into fire. So before COVID, they used to have stations in Golders Green and Hendon where either Chabad or Kedassia or KLBT will bring massive saucepans and on fire, and you will be able to put your saucepan. It has to be completely stainless steel, that can't have any plastic on it. So the handles can be plastic. If the handles are plastic, you have to take them off. So it has to be completely stainless steel. Then they would put it in boiling hot water for a few minutes, and they'll take it out, and then you first have to wash it very, very well. Then you have to put it inside boiling hot water for a few minutes, and then you have to take it out, put it under cold water, and don't use it for 24 hours. If they don't do that, it's quite complicated. Unless you have really big saucepans and you can put the little saucepans inside, then you can do that. But nowadays you can go to any supermarket and find really cheap saucepans. If there is this service in the community this year, I'll find out for you, and I will let you know if it's possible. If you want to kosher cutlery, then again, it has to be completely stainless steel, can't have any plastic on it. And what you do is that you take a kosher Pesach saucepan, and then you wash the forks and knives and spoons very, very well. You put it in boiling, you make sure the water is boiling really hot, and you put all the forks and knives inside. Then you take them out after a few minutes, you put them on the cold water, and you don't use them for 24 hours. Okay, some people say that you can use glasses also for Pesach. Then you have to wash them very well with very hot water, not boiling because you're gonna crack them. So very hot water, and then you have to leave them for 24 hours, and you can use glasses like this to drink. Yes, not plates. You can't do plates. You definitely can't do ceramic plates. So if it's too difficult for you to go and buy a new set or whatever, and there's no time, and the shops are not really open, and the supermarkets are too busy, and you can't be bothered, use plastics. Okay, really, plastics are also okay, and they don't have to be fancy. They can also be the simple ones. Okay, so that's that. When it comes to food, everything has to have an hechsher. Now, rice, whoever is Sephardi and eats rice doesn't need to have an hechsher, but you need to check it 3 times. Okay, you need to check it. You need to take. It will take you a few hours to do it, especially we do about 5 kilos of rice to check. It takes me about 3 or 4 hours to check it. It's very tiring to do it, but we do it because, you know, it's our custom to have rice in Pesach. But whoever doesn't have rice in Pesach have it very easy. So if you have rice in Pesach, you have to check it 3 times. So you have to look grain by grain to make sure there's no barley in it. A lot of times it's either stones or there's barley, or there can be a pasta. Sometimes you can find it. You'll be surprised what you find when you're really looking into it. So you make sure that you look into it. You have to do it all before Pesach. You cannot do it when Pesach comes in. Everything has to have an hechsher. I think this year KLBD said that 4 things have an hechsher of kosher, are kosher the Pesach all year round, which were, I think, tea, a type of tea, the Saxa salt, Nescafe, and something else which I can't remember what it was. But you can't buy icing sugar or coffee because they have actually chometz in it. Okay, so this is not a marketing stunt that we're telling you, oh, you have to buy everything from the kosher shops, everything has to have an hechsher. It's not a marketing stunt. You do not have to buy plain water kosher lePesach. Okay, plain water you can go and you can buy in Tesco, in Sainsbury's, and wherever you want to. That's a marketing stunt, definitely, the water. But everything else you have to buy with an hechsher. Okay, this is our time of the year that we have to be strict, that we have to take up on ourselves a little bit more. We have to make sure that our kitchens are 100% kosher for Pesach. And yes, so make sure that you buy everything in the kosher shops. There's also the kosher outlet, which is it can be much more affordable than Kosher Kingdom and Be Kosher and Tapur and so on. So if you can go there, I'm sure that it will save you a few pounds. If you have meat in your freezer, which is not mincemeat, but let's say cube chalk or steaks or things like that, they don't have to be kosher lePesach. Especially if you're going to cook them before Pesach, you wash them very, very well, because they don't have anything. There's no added preservatives, and they don't cook them. They don't add breadcrumbs or whatever. Mincemeat, we don't know what they add and the machines that they use. So we can't do that. So, or kebabs, we don't know those things. Or like if you buy chicken shishliks with a sauce on it, that definitely has to be kosher lePesach. But if you have cube chopped in the meat, or you have steaks, or you have, I don't know, pot roast or whatever, don't think that you have to finish it if you don't really want to eat it all. You can leave it for Pesach, just wash it really well, and you can have the meat. It doesn't have to have a kosher lePesach stamp, okay? Even chicken, okay? Even chicken, you can wash it very well, and it's fine, it's okay, okay? Now, we come to our amazing year, where it's not enough that everything has gone crazy upside down. Then Pesach is the cherry on top of it all. So this year, usually what would happen in Pesach, we will burn our chametz. We'll finish eating the chametz on the night that Seder night is. We will do bdikat chametz the night before, and all these things. This year is completely different because it's on Motzei Shabbat, and we can't do any of those melachot, any of those things on Shabbat. So what's going to happen? We're going to start from Thursday. Okay, first of all, I'm not sure if Tali is doing it. We have to ask Rabbi Tawil if we have a form to sell the chametz. So you have to make sure that you ask your rabbi or your shul. We might have one from the federation that we are selling the chametz in the house. We're not selling the house, please. We don't want you to sell your house, or we don't want you to sell your car. Remember what you say. You're selling the chametz in the house, the chametz in the car, the chametz in the cupboard, because otherwise the goy, if he wants to, he can come to your house and say, sorry, you sold me your house, so I want it, right? This is a real sale. It's not a jokies. This is a real sale. So we're selling the chametz in the house. So if he wants to come inside the house and say, I want to have your whiskey, you can have your whiskey. You can have your whiskey, okay? You can't tell him no, because you sold him the chametz. So you have to make sure that you know what you're saying. You're selling the chametz in the house, and you're selling the chametz in the car. So whenever you fill up the form, if you have a house here, if you have a house somewhere else, if you have one car or two cars, make sure that you sell the chametz in the car, so it's not yours. So make sure that you fill up that form. It's a very simple form. I'm sure that I think KLBD does it in their website, and Federation is doing it in their website. You just fill it up and they sell it for you. So make sure you do that before Thursday, before all the craziness. You can even do it now and just forget about it. So I've done it, tick, that's it, done. I don't have to think about it anymore. Then you have to, that's before Thursday. Then on Thursday, whoever is firstborn, a boy, whoever is the firstborn boy has to fast. But if he doesn't want to fast, he doesn't need to fast, he needs to listen to a siyum. There's going to be a lot of siyumim. That it means that they finished a part of the Torah. So they finish either a Mishnah or a Gemara or something, and then they have to go to shul. Even if they didn't finish something, they have to go to synagogue to listen to someone finish something, and then they'll have a small kiddush. I'm sure this year they'll do it COVID friendly. They have to eat something to say that they heard, they were part of that siyum, because they have to listen to the words specifically. So you can't do it over Zoom. You have to actually be there and listen to the words. So whoever it has, your husbands, your boyfriends, your brothers, your sons, whoever is a firstborn boy, make sure that he goes to shul to listen to the siyum on Thursday. They're doing it this year on Thursday morning. Okay, then bdikat chametz is on Thursday night. Okay, so when you take the 10 little pieces of bread and you go around the house and you do it with the candle and the feather, and you have in your Haggadah, you can see you have the blessing there. Then you do that bdikat chametz. You do that bdikat chametz in your on Thursday night. you don't say kol chamira. Kol chamira means that I'm mevatel, I'm annulling all my chametz that I have. We can't say that because we're still going to have chametz on Shabbat. Okay, so we can't annul all our chametz because we're still having chametz. Okay, so on Thursday night we do bdikat chametz, and then on Friday morning before 11:04, you need to do, ideally before 11:04. If you didn't have the time and you were busy, as long as it's before candlelighting, you have to do biur chametz, which is the burning of the chametz. So the 10 pieces of bread that you used in the kat chametz on Thursday night, plus any other chametz that you want to get rid of. Again, you don't say kol chamira that is on the Haggadah. You don't say that, which means I annul all my chametz because we're still eating chametz on Shabbat. Okay, so Thursday night, whoever is a firstborn boy has to go and listen to a siyum. Then on Thursday night, we're doing bdikat chametz. Then on Friday morning, ideally before 11:04, we have to do biur chametz, which is the burning of the chametz. If you're gonna do at home, be very, very, very careful. Please don't do stupid things. Don't put on fires. If you don't have a fire to burn it, double wrap it in a dustbin bag and put it outside on your bin outside. And then make sure that the chametz in those bins are not mine, they're for the goy. Now, Shabbat. Right? The ideal thing is that you have changed everything for Pesach on Thursday or Friday, whenever you change your kitchen over, or before if you did, and you cook Shabbat all kosher lePesach, because it's too complicated. Remember, you can't change the hot plate, you can't unplug it and put it back on again. You can't use a hoover to hoover the particles. And all these little things you can't do. So make sure that the best is that you cook everything kosher lePesach, and that you have enough bread to eat in the meals. The best bread is to have pita, and buy enough to just have the pita. And the best is to eat the Shabbat meal specifically in disposable plates. So, because if you're gonna have the pita in a plate that is not kosher lePesach, then where are you going to wash it? Because you can't kosher your sink again, right? So think about those things. The best thing is that you eat in disposables, that you eat in disposable. Whatever you cook for Shabbat, cook in the saucepans and then transfer it into disposable trays. That way you don't have the problem that, oh, maybe a piece of pita went into the bread. But the best thing is that you eat pita with the salads. Take a plastic tablecloth, wrap it around, throw everything into the bin, and then come and eat your chicken and chicken soup and whatever else you want to have, whatever else you have. And then on Shabbat morning, the men are going to pray very early this year. They're going to have to wake up early on Shabbat morning. Usually the shuls are going to be praying between 6:45 and 7 in the morning, because we can eat chametz only until 10 a.m. on Shabbat morning. So 10 a.m. is the latest time that we can eat chametz. So we have to do a kiddush, and usually most people are going to have it with something milky, unless you can, I don't know, eat meat at 9 in the morning, which I don't think anyone can, but some Sephardi men would do it. But I doubt it anyone will want to have meat at 9 in the morning. So just have a pita with cheese or fish or whatever else that you want to have, and then throw everything away again, put it in the bin outside. And the best thing is that you also change your clothes and you fold them nicely, put them in a bag, put it in your chametz cupboard, because we don't want things. Sweep the floor very, very well, and take the dustbin bag also as to sweep the floor. We can't wash the floor on Shabbat unless you have help, and the help can wash it for you. But do sweep the floor very, very well. So if you have any crumbs, then you can take it out. The best is if you can just have the pita in the garden or in your porch, and it's not dirtying all your house. It's especially on Shabbat morning. And then at 11:04, you say Kol Chamira, which means I'm annulling all the chametz that I own, that I didn't see, that I haven't paid attention to, that I didn't know that it was on my, that I own it and it was in my possession. That we said, I think you have to say it 3 times, and then you can relax. It's unbelievable. It's like the first Pesach that we're not running till 5 minutes before Seder, and in Seder we're falling like we're half asleep in Seder. This, now you can't sleep. You go, you chill, you read a good book. Make sure you have good books. You read a good book. You go have a siesta. Okay, you do it proper way. You have your lunch at 1 o'clock, then you go for a walk, then you come back to sleep again. And at 7:13, when Shabbat comes out, we light 2 candles. We say Shehecheyanu, we say for Yom Tov, Ladlik Ner Shel Yom Tov, and then we say Shehecheyanu. If you're gonna light wax candles, then make sure that you prepare them on Friday. Yes, you prepare all your wax candles, that you put them in, because you can't melt the wax into the candlesticks. Or if you have good like candlesticks that the candle fits exactly, then you can also do that. If whoever lights with oil like me, then you don't have to prepare it before. You can do it after Shabbat finish and prepare it for Yom Tov. And make sure that you have at least a 26-hour candle. Yes, I recommend you buy a 48-hour one, just in case it goes crazy or someone moves it and it turns off. So I would recommend to buy the 48 one on a glass, which is safer. And have it by your candles. And then when Shabbat finishes and you light your candles, you can heat up the food, but there's no rush because we have to do all this later. But we're super excited and we're full of energy, so it's going to be a really good Seder. Now the karpas, the lettuce and the celery must be washed and checked before Shabbat. So that you have to do on Friday morning, because you're not allowed to check lettuce, you're not allowed to check vegetables on Shabbat, and you don't want to delay the Seder to make it later and start later, because you need to wash and do all the Seder. So the best, if you have space in your house or your flat, to have your Shabbat meal on a different table and prepare your Seder table already from Friday, that will be the best. And you have it ready from Friday and all laid up with your plates and your cups and your cutlery. Everything is done and you leave it there and no one touches it. That's the best solution. If you don't have that, then doesn't matter, you do it quickly, you order, but make sure that your lettuce and your celery are washed and checked before Shabbat starts. So put a reminder. One of the millions of things that you're going to have to do on Friday is to check the lettuce and the celery. Also, another thing I forgot to say is that you can't use the plata that you use all year long for Shabbat, for Pesach. You have to have a new one, okay? Because it's practically impossible to clean, and because it really absorbs everything. I can ask the rabbi. I'm not sure if last year there was a leniency that if you leave it on for like an hour and then you put silver foil on it, but I'm almost sure that they say the best is to get a new hot plate. And if you have warmer drawers, you're not allowed to use them on Pesach, because that you cannot clean them. So you can't use that either. And yes, I think that's all. Is real. And don't forget, on Motzei Shabbat, the clocks go forward. So if you have 2 watches, then put 1 watch with the time for Friday and Shabbat and Motzei Shabbat, and then have another watch for Sunday and Monday. Okay, don't get confused. You're gonna wake up, and if you're invited by someone or you have to go to shul or something, and then you arrived an hour later and you're like, oh gosh. And the second night Seder, you start at 8:13, 8:18, something like that, or 7:18 like the night before, if you still have your watch on the old timing. So make sure that also your time switches are like, play around with them basically, or just don't put a time switch and leave the light on for 3 days, which I'm not sure everyone's going to want to do it. So now I'm going to mute you all. Let me just remember how to do this. Oh, here you are. Okay. If anyone wants to ask a question, now's the time to do it.
I wanted to ask you about the hot plate. Is there because you said that there could be a way that you could maybe like leave it on for an hour, then put foil paper.
I will ask the rabbi.
Okay.
I will definitely ask the rabbi and we'll let you know.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, good.
Yeah, I'll ask the question. I got married last year. I'm Sephardi, and as you know, obviously.
Who is it?
Dina.
I can't see. What's your name?
Dina.
Oh, hi, Dina. How are you?
I'm good, thank God. How are you?
I'm good, Baruch Hashem.
Good.
Tell me.
So, as you know, I got married last year, thank God, before Corona. And I'm Sephardi, and my husband is Ashkenazi. And
you have to follow his tradition.
No. But I'm living at my parents.
Right. Okay. So
we are due to move. The builder said before Pesach, but I mean, I know it's going to be after Pesach. So.
Okay. So look, depends how strict he is. I know that some Sefaradis, some Ashkenazim won't eat by Sephardi people because of
the no, we went last year. No, I think he will eat here, but it's a case of like, look, to be honest with you, like I don't need to have rice. I don't need to have kitniot. It's not the big.
So I think it's something that you and him should discuss. We are Moroccan. And we don't eat rice on Pesach, and we don't eat kitniot. We're like Ashkenazi in Pesach. And when I got married to the rabbi, it was really, really very difficult for me to accept to eat rice. And he told me that I have to do a tarat nedarim, which means I have to annul. It's like I took upon myself, like how you call it, a promise, and I had to annul the promise because now I'm allowed to eat rice. And I refused to eat rice for 2 years.
Yeah.
I told him it's too difficult for me. I can't do it. For me, it's like really eating chametz.
Yeah.
Right. But it was so important. I would cook it for him and I would do it for him. Anyway, the first 2 years we didn't do Pesach. We went to family. But I know that it was the first Pesach we went to my parents for Pesach. And my mom told him, it's chametz. I'm not having rice in my house. Yeah. So she asked her best friend, that is Halabi, to cook him rice. And she sat him in the corner with plastic plates to eat it.
Yeah, I mean, my sister
because we're very strict. So I think it's something that you have to discuss with him, how important it is for him.
Yeah.
Are you taking all the costumes that he's taking? Does he want you to take all the costumes? Have a discussion about it, and try and respect him in whatever way he wants to go.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that your parents are super accommodating. So I'm sure they'll
I know,
do
that's
things.
what I'm saying, because my sister also, she married a Moroccan guy.
Yeah.
So she's taken on his custom and she doesn't eat rice either.
Right.
So
it's not like only the rice, it's
everything else.
It's like peas and beans and
exactly,
and I don't know what other vegetables I can't remember now because whatever. I'm fully
but like we like I'm used to her not eating rice now for the past 7 years. Like it's not like it's something which is going to be that difficult.
Okay, so I think have a discussion with him. I think the best is to have a discussion with him and say what would you like me to do, what and I think also for yourself, see what you want to do, because and please God, you're gonna have kids, then you're gonna have to follow one path. You can't be half.
No, of course.
So I think make the best out of it. It's not chametz. It's like for some Ashkenazim, it's really chametz. Like for my family, like it's mamash chametz. But my mom will eat in my house, right? But she will never allow that. I have I know someone who's a very good friend of mine. Her mom won't eat in her house because she is Sephardi. She married Sephardi, and they eat rice and kidneyot. Her mom won't eat in her house, and she's fine with it because she respects it. That's what they do. But is everyone in their own level. If there's things in the meal, then you can eat everything else.
Exactly. I mean, my mom makes enough food.
Yes, I've had Ashkenazim when we could have guests. When I did many years ago Pesach here, they told me that even if I cook kidneyot on that saucepan, they will eat it. But I wouldn't. I didn't do kidneyot when they were here, just out of respect. But it's not halachically. Remember, all these are minhagim that have become halacha. And also remember that Europeans didn't have rice. It didn't exist, such a thing, right? And the Iraqis, Iranians, Syrians, all they had was rice. They didn't know what potato is.
Yeah.
So it's all from where they came from, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you, Rai.
Anyone else? Gila, yes. You're muted. Gila, you're muted. I unmuted you. 1 second.
Now it's working. Hi.
Yay. Hi.
Raya, could you just say again the part of the hob if it's an electric hob? Because I just really want.
So if it's an electric hob, it's really, you can't really kosher it because it's glass. Okay, so the best thing I looked into, because I remember we had a lot of questions about electric hobs last year, and the K of America, KLBD, and someone else said that there is such a thing. I think the best is that you call shuttlers, because they sell all these things, and I don't think it's something expensive. There's something called cooking mat for electric hobs that you put it on top. Is built to cook on top of it. If you clean it well with the sponge and water, and you put this mat on top, then it's perfect. You can cook with it, and it's kosher lePesach.
And it's okay? What, like a metallic mat, or?
I don't know, but it's like apparently it's a really thin mat that is done for electric hobs, and that you just put it on top, and the heat still comes through. So you cook with it. I don't know, maybe silicone. I have no idea.
And it's from shuttlers, you said.
I don't know if they didn't say it's from shuttlers, but shuttlers is a place that they will sell those things, like any gadgets that you need for kosher kitchen, they will definitely have. Okay. And if not, they might be able to make you one. They're very, very good with it, because they make blechs and all these things, like people that don't use hot plates and they use just a iron to put on top of your gas for Shabbat, then they also make it made to measure. So I think they will be the right place to go to, I presume. But I would suggest you to call them like yesterday.
Good to know.
If you can't find it, let me know, and then we'll ask Rabbi Tawil.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyone else? Okay. So if you have any questions that you're in the middle of cooking or whatever, then you can message me with pleasure, and I'll do my best to answer you. And next week on Wednesday at 8:30, we're gonna learn a bit less halacha, and we're gonna get some inspiration to, show off in front of our husbands and kids that we also know something about Pesach, and that we can also say something really nice, something that will get us into the environment and the excitement of Pesach and the amazing holiday that it is, the holiday of Emunah, of faith, where Hashem shows us and He's giving us a massive hug and say, hey, I'm here to save you. And hopefully He's going to bring us Mashiach this year, because we really waited for Him last year and He didn't come. Maybe we're going to have Him this year. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. And take care. Also, if you know anyone that is struggling and needs matzot this Pesach, you can go and register, or tell them to register onto our website to get one box of matzah shmura for free. We have limited quantities, and first come, first served, and you have to fill up the application and register. So if you know anyone who's struggling, anyone that that is lonely and can do with it, so please guide them. And if you think they're too proud to ask for it, then register yourself for them and make sure that you give it to them as a present. So take care, and see you next week, please God. Bye, everyone.